Hard-hitting, relentless, explosive. Soviet-style strength and conditioning for boxing wasn't just training. It was a system forged in sweat, science, and an unbreakable will to dominate. Soviet boxers achieved success in boxing through a comprehensive and highly disciplined strength and conditioning system. Their training was grounded in sports science, with a focus on enhancing physical attributes, improving fight-specific skills, and fostering mental toughness. Soviet coaches often designed grueling strength workouts to build mental toughness. Boxing in the Soviet Union was state-sponsored from the 1950s onward, following its formal recognition as an official sport by Soviet authorities in 1936. The sport became increasingly organized and supported under the state's broader initiative to excel in international athletics as part of Cold War competition. Today we will dive into the Soviet Union's legendary training methods that created some of the toughest and most technically brilliant fighters of their time. From Olympic champions to world-class professionals, these methods revolutionized strength and conditioning for boxing. First, let's talk philosophy. Soviet training was all about systematic preparation. Everything was planned, measured, and executed with precision. The goal was to build fighters who were explosive, enduring, and mentally unshakable. Soviet boxers in amateur boxing used highly structured strength and conditioning programs to excel in competitions. Their success was rooted in a combination of scientific methods, discipline, and a focus on developing the physical and mental attributes required for high-intensity bouts. They relied heavily on sports science, integrating research into biomechanics and physiology, and their use of periodization kept fighters improving without burning out. Strength training. Soviet boxers built raw strength with movements that engaged the whole body. Rather than building bulky muscles, Soviet trainers focused on functional strength that translated directly to boxing performance. Kettlebells were a staple in their regimen, helping develop core strength, grip, endurance, and the ability to generate force from the ground up. Exercises like squats, deadlifts, and pull-ups built overall strength, particularly in the legs, core, and back, essential for balance, rotational power, and generating punching force. Exercises that mimic the twisted motion of punches, like medicine ball throws and landmine exercises, enhance power transfer from the lower body to the upper body. Strength exercises were tailored to replicate the movements and demands of boxing. These included weighted punches, isometrics, and neck and shoulder exercises. While building strength, Soviet boxers avoided gaining excessive muscle mass, which could reduce speed and stamina. Instead of lifting heavy weights for low reps, they often used moderate weights with higher repetitions to build strength endurance. Strength exercises were often performed in circuits, combining lifts with bodyweight movements to improve both strength and cardiovascular fitness. Explosive power and plyometrics. Explosiveness is critical in boxing for quick, powerful punches and movement. Soviet boxers focused on dynamic, fast twitch muscle development through Olympic lifts and plyometrics. Olympic lifts are where they perform exercises like cleans, snatches, and push presses, which train for explosive power in the legs, hips, and shoulders. These lifts emphasize speed and precision, aligning with the quick, explosive nature of boxing. Boxers also perform plyometrics like jump squats, box jumps, and explosive push-ups to develop fast-twitch muscle fibers essential for sudden bursts of power. Weighted shadow boxing, resistance band punches, and punching with light dumbbells help develop power and endurance in punching movements. Conditioning. Boxing requires a blend of anaerobic bursts for throwing combinations and aerobic endurance to sustain performance over multiple rounds. Soviet conditioning addressed both aspects. Soviet boxers used a mix of steady state and interval training to optimize their cardiovascular systems. They performed short, intense sprints alternated with rest periods, which simulated the stop-and-go pace of a fight. While primarily anaerobic, boxing also benefits from aerobic endurance, and Soviet boxers often did long runs to build a strong cardiovascular base. Bag work, mitt work, and shadow boxing were performed at high intensities to build fight-specific conditioning. Boxing is as much about quick decision-making and strategy as physical ability. Strength and conditioning supported their mental sharpness. High-intensity circuits that mimic the pace of a fight helped boxers stay composed when fatigued. While not strictly physical, mental rehearsals and focusing techniques were a key part of preparation, ensuring boxers could execute strategies under the stress of competition. Unique drills and equipment. Soviet gyms were known for their unique equipment. Fighters would punch with weighted gloves or practice on heavy bags filled with sand to develop punching power and hand resilience. These tools weren't fancy, but they worked. By the 1990s, Soviet boxing training was a well-oiled machine, producing fighters who were physically dominant and mentally sharp. Their methods have influenced countless modern fighters and continue to shape the sport today. Periodization and planning. Soviet coaches were pioneers in using periodization to structure training across different phases, ensuring boxers peaked at the right time. The phases that Soviet coaches used for the fighters were preparation phase, which focused on building a base of strength, endurance, and general fitness. Specific phase, which introduced sport-specific exercises like sparring, bag work, and punch resistance training. And lastly, competition phase, which reduced the volume and emphasized speed, precision, and recovery to prepare for fights. Mental toughness through physical training. Soviet boxers often trained under harsh conditions to build mental resilience alongside physical toughness. Running or sparring in cold environments pushed their psychological limits. High-intensity, full-body workouts mimic the fatigue of a fight, teaching boxers to maintain composure under pressure. Strength and conditioning sessions often included visualization drills, helping fighters mentally rehearse high-pressure scenarios. Now let's look at why the Soviet style of strength and conditioning worked and why some people still use it today. Soviet boxers weren't just strong or fast. They were complete athletes with endurance, power, agility, and mental fortitude. Every exercise was chosen to enhance performance in the ring, ensuring that strength and conditioning translated directly to fighting skills. Training was methodical and consistent, with coaches closely monitoring progress to ensure optimal performance. The combination of intense physical challenges and mental preparation made Soviet boxers some of the toughest competitors in the sport. After the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, state sponsorship of sports, including boxing, declined significantly. Many athletes transitioned to professional boxing or sought opportunities abroad as funding and institutional support collapsed. By seamlessly integrating strength, speed, endurance, and mental conditioning, Soviet boxing programs created a generation of fighters who excelled at the highest levels. Their systematic approach continues to influence modern training methodologies worldwide. I hope you enjoyed this video as I discuss the Soviet style of training and why many boxers from that background are successful. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video, share the video, and let me know down in the comment section below what type of fighting style or what fighter you would like me to cover next as it pertains to their strength and conditioning. All right, I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.